Has the pandemic slowed down your church growth, made it hard for you to attract new members, made it hard for you to retain the members you do have, or maybe the new members that you do attract, or maybe just made you wonder if you're even going to be able to keep your church doors open? If so, in this video, I'm going to show you how to fix that. But before we get started, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell notification. That way you don't miss out on any future church growth tips for pastors. Hey, my name is Greene. I'm the founder of Impactful Pastors. I'm actually here in Medellin, Colombia. Just got done with the workout. But on this channel, what I do is I help pastors turn struggling churches into healthy, growing churches. And what I'm going to show you in this video is how I basically help the pastors I personally work with basically pandemic-proof their church. So just like it probably was for you, the pandemic was hard for me as well. I actually started a brand new business right before the pandemic happened. And as the pandemic was going on, I was really confused on how I was going to make money, how I was going to survive, how I was going to pay the bills. Same thing that you probably wondered and maybe still are wondering. But what changed everything for me is I started surrounding myself with other entrepreneurs that were doing $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, not dollars a year, a month. So while all the rest of my friends and family were basically shutting down their life and saying, hey, let's just ride this thing out, I was surrounding myself with entrepreneurs who were thriving even more than ever before. And so as I got around them and I learned what they were doing, I started applying it in my own life and business. And I was able to, in the pandemic, in between June 2020 and December 2020, do over $100,000 in sales. And so what I'm going to show you in this video is the strategy that I use to be able to survive the pandemic and how you can customize it for your church to help you survive it as well. So the first thing is you want to make sure that you're having a can-do mindset. If entrepreneurs are able to succeed and they're able to believe in themselves in order to get a Rolex or a Lamborghini or a bigger house or just travel the world, you got to believe that you can do it for God. And you got to quit saying like, oh, I'm a small church, we can't do this. Or, hey, I'm just a small pastor, I can't do this. Or, hey, the pandemic, we can't do this. You got to, even though these are valid reasons, you got to quit using that as an excuse. And you got to believe that you can do it. And you have to find a way. Instead of saying I can't, say how can I? That's what I noticed that a lot of the entrepreneurs I was around, that's what they were asking themselves. They weren't saying, oh, the pandemic is hard, so I can't grow a business. They say, how can I still make $20,000 a month or more during a pandemic? So you have to say the same thing. How can I keep my doors open? How can I attract more people? And you have to have an I can mindset. I just have to figure it out. Once you have that, the rest changes. So number two is you want to identify your fish. Too many pastors are just trying to attract everybody. And when you try to go for everybody, it doesn't really work. So in the entrepreneur world, we call that niching down or finding your niche. I like to call it finding your fish. And what this means is, who are the people that you as a pastor can help the most? And that's who you want to attract. That way it's easier for you to attract those people because you can relate with them rather than just trying to catch everybody. And so sometimes that can feel backwards because you feel like you're limiting people, but trust me, it's going to help you to find those people that you really identify with and identify with you. And it's going to help you grow even faster. And then as you grow, you can start to cast wider nets to other people. So let me know in the comments, who are your fish? Maybe you don't know it 100%, but right now at the time of watching this video, who do you feel like are the people that you can identify with the most? So for example, if you overcame drug abuse by church or by getting closer to God, maybe those are the people that you could help. So let me know in the comments, who do you think your fish are, right? So now moving on to number three out of all the 5 steps. So we have a can-do mindset, we have identify your fish, and now we need to find your fish. So this could be on social media. You could use Instagram, you could use the explore page, hashtags, location to find people. You could use Facebook, you could use Facebook groups, or you can find them in person. Where do they hang out? So if your fish are healthy people, maybe you need to find some basketball courts or some yoga places or wherever those people hang out. You have to be able to find them. So first you identify them, next you have to go find them. So number 4 is something that I kind of came up with and something that I teach the pastors in my coaching program, Impactful Pastors, and that's using LCPs and DCPs. So LCPs are local connection points and DCPs are digital connection points. So for entrepreneurs, the way a lot of my friends were making money is they weren't just trying to advertise their products and just saying, hey, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff. But that's what I see a lot of pastors are doing. They're like, don't forget to come to church. Don't forget to come to church. Come to church. Come to church. Come to church. And that just throws people off. They don't want to come. And that's probably why you're not growing. Instead, what my friends were doing is they were just identifying their niche. They would find their niche, and then they would get them on a strategy call. On this strategy call, they would identify that person's pain, their problems, and then from there they could offer the solution. So same thing that you want to do as a pastor. Now, you don't need to do a strategy call because you're not necessarily selling anything, but using an LCP or a DCP is going to help you build that relationship. That way they're more likely to come to church. So let me break that down. An LCP is a local connection point. So this could be Starbucks, a restaurant, a park, anything that's local that you feel comfortable with meeting up with the people that you're connecting with. A DCP is basically the same thing, but it's digital. So it could be Facebook, video chat, it could be Zoom, it could be FaceTime, anything where you can see that person's face, but it's digital. So instead of just trying to get people to come to church, don't just do that, because same thing with entrepreneurs. You're not just going to ask someone to buy your service, especially if it's a couple $1,000s. It's not going to work. Instead, what you have to do is you want to invite them to link up via LCP or a DCP, build that relationship. And then the next step, number 5, is going to be then you extend the invitation. So you've learned about them when you met up locally or digitally. You learn like what they're struggling with, what they're going through, their life, their goals. Now you extend church as a solution to that. So the same thing that I do and my other friends do as entrepreneurs, which is, you know, you have a strategy call and then you offer your product as a solution. You're gonna do the same thing. You're gonna use the LCP or a DCP, connect with them, and then from there you're just saying, hey, you should come to church, we would love to connect with you, or let's go to this life group, or whatever that is that looks for you, however that looks like for you. And that's gonna be a lot better than just only trying to get people to go to church. People have to know that you care about them. Same thing for me, right? My friends, some of them, they're selling a program that's $10,000 for you to join per person. So are you just going to join that if you don't feel like they care about you, or they don't care, or they care about your results? No. So the same thing for church, right? Even though it's free, you still got to get people to know that you care about them. That's why I say don't skip all these steps. You got to connect locally, connect digitally, and then you extend the invitation to church, a life group, or whatever it is that looks like for you. Could be an event. So the final thing, step number 6. So what you want to do after you've got them in is you want to maintain the relationship. So for example, entrepreneurs, we can't just, get people into our program and then not follow up with them because they might not actually do the steps in the program. And then they're going to feel like all you wanted was their money and you don't really care about their results. Or let's say if they don't end up joining your program and they're just like a lead, then they're going to feel like, oh, you don't care about me if I didn't join the program. So I see too many pastors, you're just focused on people coming in, but you're not making sure that you retain them or you keep in contact with them. So there's a couple ways that I would suggest that you do this. Same way that my entrepreneur friends do this. Again, they're making 6 figures, so you can do it for a church that's free. You have a Facebook group. That's one of the best ways that you can keep everyone in there. You can message people at one time. You can post content and everyone can see it. You have group chats. You have Telegram. You have WhatsApp, all these different groups. You have in-person life groups. So you want to make sure that you're actually keeping in contact with people, because if you get them there but then you're not actually keeping in contact with them afterwards, then they're probably not going to stay, right? Because they feel like you don't care about them. So once you've got them there, make sure that you maintain that relationship. As an entrepreneur, we would say nurture that relationship, and that's going to help you grow. So a little bonus tip, there's always noise here, always noise here. It's ridiculous. But hey, that's the life of a digital nomad. So I've been living here in Medellin, Colombia for about 3 months. So it's fun. But final tip, which is kind of like a bonus tip, don't just focus on getting people to church. Focus on how you can help them. Same way I've grown my business. The months that I'm only focused on how can I get people in the program, how can I get people into the program, I get frustrated, I get irritated. But the months that I'm like, hey, let me just help people and focus on them, those are the times that people see that I really care and they join the program. So I would suggest you doing the same thing. Here's a testimony of one of the pastors that's in my program. His name is Abraham. He was actually able to use this strategy to get over 40 just youth to join his church. So this doesn't include like the whole total amount of people that joined his church, but this is like the youth. So there's 40. Imagine if you could attract just 40 people in general in just a couple months. So that's what he was able to do with this strategy. So trust me, it works. You just have to follow these 6 steps, and then the 7th bonus step, which is, you know, just don't care about people going to church. Like, you actually have to care about them. But if you follow this, it definitely will work. All right, so I know that sometimes it can be overwhelming to implement all these steps though, even though it can be simple. Sometimes it's like, okay, how do I find my fish on these different platforms? How do I get them to get on an LCP or a DCP? How do I build my Facebook group in order to keep them all together? So if you need a little bit of extra help putting all that together, what you can do is look in the description or click the link below, and there's a way that you can book a call with me and my team, take a look at what you guys are doing, and we'll tell you a little bit more about our program, Impactful Pastors. And if it ends up being a good fit, we can tell you what that looks like for you to join. So there's that link. We do only work with a certain amount of pastors per month. So I would say don't delay, click today. But don't delay. If you really are interested in that, click it. That way you can make sure that we still have some open spots, because I want to make sure that I'm giving a lot of attention to the pastor that I work with. I'm not the guy that just wants to sign up everyone and just, you know, just have a cheap program where a lot of people are signing up, but I don't care about them. I want to give them personal attention and make sure they're getting really, really good results. So we're only working with a couple of pastors. So if this video helped, but you want a little bit more help putting everything together and implementing the 6 steps I talked about, book a call with us. We can help you with that. And then if this video brought you any value, please do me a favor, share it with another pastor that you feel like this could help, and then hit the like button. And love you guys. See you on the next one.